from Digital Nexa and Michael Battaglia from NFT Cred, my colleague. We're going to be talking about how a leading digital agency uses NFTs to boost engagement. Well, thank you, Amit, all the way from Dubai.
Hey, Quinn.
Yep.
Is it working? Yep, great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves?
All right, so Michael Battaglia from NFT Cred, Director of Customer Success. So I work with our large brand clients to make sure that their campaigns are set up properly and that they get the most marketing and engagement from them.
Awesome. Amit, Vyas. So I'm the CEO of a digital marketing agency based out of Dubai. We've been operating for just under 18 years with offices in Dubai, the UK, US, and in Australia now as well.
Wonderful. And for anyone who doesn't know, I am Quinn Button, VP of Growth for NFT NYC and NFT Cred, the tech platform that we're working with Amit, with several of his clients to be able to get in the hands of. So I think first off, agencies, we have a lot of agencies in the room as well as brands who are interested in learning about what the opportunities in Web3 are. I know, Amit, you've been in, helping brands for a very long time. Why don't you kind of give us an understanding of where we're up to in Web3 and how we got here and your experience along the way?
Yeah, it's been super interesting. It's brought, getting into Web3, I think from an agency standpoint, we really started investing in this space about 18 months ago. And it's just brought back so many memories, right? So, we were kind of created and formed during the Web 1 time, so pre-social media. And during those days, our job was to try and convince brands, large international brands, that they needed a website, right? And then we kind of slowly got past that stage. And then it was all about social media. And we, had to convince people to, why Facebook was a good idea, why Twitter was a good idea. And so we've kind of gone through that whole kind of education process. We saw the hesitation back in those days, both for websites, especially during social media. I think so many people have spoken about, the stigma around sort of NFTs at the moment. There's a lot of kind of negativity. It was the same with social, right? It was exactly the same with social. When, last few weeks, a lot of people have been saying that, hey, we shouldn't really call NFTs NFTs. We should call them something else, digital collectibles or whatever that looks like. But that was the same with social media. So I just in preparation of this, when I was thinking about it, I went and pulled out some old pitch decks, and we don't use social media in there to sell social media. It was, hey, this is word of mouth marketing, because again, social had such bad sort of stigma around it and negativity around it at that time. So it's been interesting because we kind of find ourselves here again. But a challenge, I think, in terms of really kind of educating brands is social was very much about sort of community building, engagement, and marketing, whereas Web3, blockchain is just so much more. It's not just about changing the way that you communicate with your customers. This is going to change things operationally. It's going to change things forever, and the change is so much more profound.
Yeah, well said. I think that's really interesting. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you in here obviously remember when social media was just coming up and the stigma behind it, and it was hard for brands to really actually say, okay, yes, let's start a Facebook page or an Instagram page. But this is Web3. It's a direct engagement opportunity that we haven't seen in quite a while. And we actually met at HubSpot Inbound, and Michael was a huge part of our CRM integration with HubSpot. Why don't you tell them a little bit about the CRM that we're
Yeah, so with our platform, NFT Cred, we allow our brand clients to engage with their clients and their consumers directly with the platform, also integrated with the CRM system. So what that allows brands to do, and Amit, you know this, is it allows them to really not just interact with that consumer with just the wallet address. We're allowed to use email address, you're able to use their social Twitter handle, you can integrate and collect their Discord, phone number, you can interact in different ways, and what that allows you to do is deliver additional NFTs, or as Justin mentioned earlier, it's like token gating access, whether it's token gating access to a website, an e-commerce platform, through another NFT marketplace to collect additional NFTs, or really any physical asset. So.
So going back to that conversation about the CRM, so I get really excited about things like CRM.
Me too.
And when we really started to understand exactly what this space could really kind of evolve into, I think I said to you, Quinn, if any of these big CRM players really understood the power of this, I think the first thing they would do is start figuring out a way of how they can connect wallets into a CRM inside of a customer record, and then have a deep look inside those wallets, right? Because it's still all about personalization. The fundamentals of marketing and communication aren't going to go away, but CRMs with much richer, deeper information, and nothing's richer or deeper than what's inside your wallet, right? So if now as a brand I can see which other brands you're engaging with, I might guess that you're into sports, but actually now I can see which teams you follow, what sports you follow, maybe how active you are, how passionate you are. I mean, these are the kinds of, behaviors, experiences, things like that, that really CRM platforms should be tapping into. And if they do that, we're going to get to that point where we're going to really start to receive really kind of hyper-personalized information, rather than just a bit of a guess, which it kind of still is.
It is kind of that way, and I so agree with you. Looking in someone's wallet, there's no better way to understand someone's real, true preferences. My research was in consumer behavior, and so trying to understand the data on the blockchain and in wallets, it's a little bit dispersed right now. And so to be able to really have all that data be plugged into a CRM where you can measure it and also measure it with your current KPIs. I think that's one thing. We work with a lot of enterprise brands as well as Amit. And on the NFT Cred side, we have a platform where we create white label marketplaces. So Coach, for example, the fashion company, we built them a white label marketplace. So it's not like they're all on OpenSea. They're also on OpenSea, but they have a familiar environment where mainstream users can onboard very easily. You don't have to have a MetaMask. You don't have to know all of the different things that us Web3 natives all use on a daily basis. You really just can log in with an email and a password, and instantly a wallet is attached. A semi-custodial wallet that is also white labeled by Coach, for example, is immediately attached to your account, so you can start collecting NFTs right off the bat. And I think that's a really important part, right? We need to reduce the friction in order to get the next wave of mainstream users in. We need to make it really easy, a familiar environment, and to create that trust. And that's really how we started doing the integration with CRM that gets us very excited, is to understand not just, okay, who's collecting these, what are their interests also, looking inside their wallet, and then measuring that with KPIs. I think the NFL reported, the open rate as they started using NFTs in their email marketing increased by over 40%. That's a normal KPI, right? And that's something that we can really measure and understand what the ROI is of an NFT campaign through the CRM. And so I think, you have a lot of different clients and customers. I think one thing, too, that we've talked about, all of us, because we all work outside of this event on NFT campaigns with brands full-time, really, I think internalizing has been a serious issue. Maybe you can speak on that.
Yeah, so again, because this is just, this is so much bigger than social media, I think if we want to sort of contextualize it a little bit. And when we kind of speak to brands, a lot of them are saying, okay, cool, we know we need to do something. Let's create an NFT collection, let's do this. But I think a lot of the brands who we're speaking to now, we're kind of pushing back on that approach, because look, we're all for companies and brands saying, hey, if you want to do something, you should do it, but you've also got to do it the right way, because any kind of mistake, any kind of negative press or feedback might stop them doing something for a long time. And the way that we're kind of explaining to these clients how they should be really kind of laying some really strong foundations is by making sure that everyone, every stakeholder within the organization, all employees need to be educated about this, right? So, a hotel group that we work with, based out of Dubai, it's a group called Rove Hotels, very kind of innovative brand, and they've got about 10 properties right now, and what we're going to do with them is roll out a whole educational series for every single member of their team, so every staff member, from the cleaners all the way up to senior management. And one of the reasons of doing that is, firstly, we want to make sure that, if guests now, phase 2, when they launch a kind of, more public collection, all of their staff should know exactly what this is, right? Why they're doing it, and they need to understand some of the mechanics behind it. But the second reason I think this is more important is this is very empowering because, how else is a cleaner of a hotel ever going to be exposed to the opportunities within this space? And so if we can create programs that really kind of empower employees, this is going to have a direct correlation to overall success and employee satisfaction and things like that. So, we're obviously working with you guys on this as well, but, even getting employees to receive Employee of the Month NFTs, which can then integrate directly onto LinkedIn as a kind of validated accreditation and things like that. I think it's just so powerful. But it brings this all to kind of, real life application.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely education is key, especially in the phase that we're in now, that teaching people that NFTs aren't just speculative assets, that they can be used for so much more than that. So it reminds me of the campaign we did with SAP. They had recently won an award for Line of Business of the Year, and what they did, instead of that physical award sitting on somebody's desk, was that they fractionalized it as an NFT and gave it to all the employees that helped make that award possible. So really, it's allowing the employees to participate and receive this award. What they did was they did share it on LinkedIn, and people changed their avatars to the award. And it brings a better sense of community. It allows them to feel like they participated, and in addition to that, they're getting to learn this new technology. For most of the SAP employees, it was their first ever NFT that they received, and it kind of started them down the rabbit hole that we all in this room went on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that integration with LinkedIn was a really important piece too, right? Because you can put certifications on LinkedIn. I don't know if you guys know that they opened that back up, right? But when you, we have a integration where you click and you actually can have it autofill on LinkedIn, and then it links back to that NFT that you own in your wallet. So it's really adding that extra layer of verification that I own this NFT. I received it from SAP's smart contract from their wallet, and it really gives that additional verification, which I think it opened up the eyes of the employees, not only, but then also the direction in which NFTs can be used in so many different ways, beyond just selling it on a marketplace. You can really engage directly with your employees or your audiences in some powerful ways. And I think we'll just kind of wrap up one last thing. I think what we're seeing, from the NFT Cred side, we're really the tech partner behind the scenes, making the white label, so you don't see us. We make sure the brand is the highlight, but we have really great partners like agencies, and we're starting an agency program. Amit's one of the first agencies that we're really bringing on because he's been looking for a specific tool, and he's got fantastic brands who are biting at the bit to actually get their first NFT campaign launched. And I think we'll just close with you, Amit, on how you see the next year or so really unfolding for the brands and what tech you're hoping to have evolve as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think for us right now, I think we've got collective responsibility. So if we go back to those brands that really want to kind of launch projects, launch campaigns, we've got to make sure what they do is right. And it's such a sort of complex area, so we've got to make it very relatable. We've got to simplify some of this in terms of messaging, in terms of how the execution side of it. Working with yourselves, because you've got the custodial wallet system where you can mint an NFT with an email address rather than having a digital. I think these things are really important because we've got to cut all the friction out of this right now. We've got to make the process really seamless, and we've just got to really drive education for brands to stop them making mistakes which can be really potentially damaging. So yeah, and I'm hugely excited. I mean, this is for me easily the most exciting part of the business that I've kind of worked in since the start. So
yeah, from Web 1 to 2 and now on to 3,
yeah.
and excited for the future. Thank you so much for both of you for being here. Give them a nice round of applause. Thank you so much.
Everybody.
Thank you.